Welcome back to Spirit Hunters Paranormal 911. I am Tim. We've gone over quite a bit of things in the series videos of paranormal investigating and research. This video that I'm doing here, we're going to be talking about some of the paranormal equipment that we use in our investigations. There's quite a wide variety of items that can be used. Some of them are not very expensive. There are some that are, but I'm going to give you kind of the basic ones that most paranormal investigators will use. On your investigations, you want to make sure you carry plenty of batteries, because spirits will drain the energy out of your batteries. So you don't want to be caught out there in the middle of an investigation and your equipment got drained and you don't have any batteries to change them back out, especially like in your flashlights. You don't want to be left out in the dark if you're doing a nighttime investigation. Now, some of the things that in the beginning, when I started doing it, was kind of common where there wasn't much of an expense in the equipment I was using. I used basically just a regular digital recorder. That way I could pick up on voices or sounds, something I was able to record. These you can get just about anywhere. Walmart, you can get them online. Any electronical shop that sells electronics usually carries stuff like this. That's kind of a necessity, I'd say, that you would need. Also, I would use like just a regular camera. Of course, nowadays they got digital cameras, which are a lot better, but get you like a digital camera. That also you can get like at Walmart. They're fairly cheap. Be able to take still shots. We used these because we didn't have video cameras back in the earlier days. This way we could get some documented pictures. Of course, video cameras are a lot better nowadays because you can capture a lot more than what you could with a still camera. Still camera, if you snapped the shot at the right time and you were lucky to catch the picture, you did good. The majority of the time you might have been a little too early or a little bit too late. You didn't always catch the picture that you were trying to catch. But these are always handy because if you're doing an investigation and you do get some kind of EMF reading or some kind of energy feeling, or something that you feel that there's something there, take some pictures, because a lot of times you will catch either a light anomaly. You could catch a image of a figure, of a shadow person, or an apparition. You can catch different things. You can catch orbs, so they're always come in handy for like a still picture. So that's something that I would recommend that you use when doing it. Now, back in the early days before they had like the EMF meters, we used just like a basic compass, which is basically the same thing. It works off of magnetic energy. Using these is not as good as what you can use nowadays with your EMF meters, because some of them make noise, they light up. With a compass, it does nothing. You almost have to be looking at it when it happens to be able to notice that there's something there. But these were devices that were able to be used. They were real inexpensive. Don't use this too much anymore. I've gotten spoiled. Go with the EMF meters nowadays. But for a beginner, if they just wanted to just go out and go to some cemeteries, or see if they can draw energy from their homes or whatever, kind of as a hobby, and just wanted to get started, these are some of the things you could use where they're real inexpensive. Compass, digital recorder, and a Insta camera, or just a camera to be able to take snapshots. Those are always handy. And of course, you know, a lot of um, your basic tools that you use is yourself, your senses, you know, being able to hear, being able to see, being able to feel, touch, smell, use your gut feeling. A lot of times, if there's some type of energy around there, you might get kind of like goosebumps on your arms, or you may get like a chill or something. You know, if the temperature has changed, you know, kind of pay attention to that, because that's usually a sign of some kind of energy possibly around you. You know, these tools are easy and inexpensive. Now the tools that we use now that we're doing videos, um, you know, we'll still stick with the basics like the still camera, a digital camera. We'll still stick with our digital voice recorder. The only thing I've added to it is just a basic pair of headphones, because I find that with these, using through the digital recorder, I can pick up sounds a lot more. They're a lot clearer. It'll pick up stuff that I can't just hear just listening out here. If I listen through these while I'm out there, it picks up a lot more. It'll pick up a longer distance. Also, I'll use to where I'm not having to carry the recorder around in my hand, the camera in another hand, and try to carry my EMF meter in another hand. I'll usually get me like a cheap pair of as an external microphone that will also plug in to the device. That way, when you turn on record, slip it off in your pocket. Your hand's free of it, but it's still doing what it's supposed to do. It's going to be picking up things. Clip the mic to your shirt. It will pick up basically the same thing that the voice recorder will. It'll pick up all the sounds. It'll pick up your voice, and like I say, you know, connect the microphone, the headphones to the device. Use those on your investigation. You can hear a lot more things, a lot clearer. Now, we got those devices there, and of course, you want a video camera if you want to get more into filming to where you can post them on YouTube or documenting your work a little bit better. There's a lot of digital cameras out there. I use, it's an HD camera, and it's got the infrared night vision on, because a lot of stuff we do at nighttime. You don't necessarily have to have a night one, but it helps on being able to catch a clearer picture. You know, a lot of times, you know, I just hold it by hand, but if you're needing something where you have light to go with it, get you a little camera holder. It's a handheld unit that you can use. You mount your camera on there. It's got a place at the top where you can mount a light on. This light is more or less like a spotlight type. I believe it's a 164 red light version. It's got the adjustable dimmer switch on, so you can change your brightness or dim on shots on it. The only thing, it doesn't get a long range on it like I was hoping. You can get probably at nighttime, you pick up about a I don't know, 25, 30 foot distance very clearly. After that, you know, it's not as clear. I added something to this, which, you know, is just something I came up with, my design. Got a powerful, like a flashlight. It's more of a spot type light. It shoots a long distance. I got a mounting bracket to mount on the handle and to mount the light, the flashlight on here. I will also use it because I can direct my light as to where I want. You know, I can go with a narrow vision, or I can widen it out depending on what I want. I pretty much go within a narrow vision. You know, pretty much the area what my camera is shining at, because that's what I'm trying to record. So I usually have these two going, and I find I can get probably closer to 35, maybe 40 foot distance, maybe even possibly a little further. It's a good item to have. Now I do have another one that I use on one of my other cameras, and I have it set up for infrared vision when I'm doing a night. And I got started out with just one infrared adapter light, which gives you a little bit more range of being able to pick up what area you were trying to cover. I wasn't quite satisfied with it because I wasn't quite getting the distance I wanted. So I decided I'd go ahead and get me a second one. That way I got like dual headlights here in a way. And I find out I'm getting quite a long range. The only thing with these being under infrared night vision is good for out there away from you, but if you're videoing up something up close, it's almost like having, I don't know, like a bright light. It kind of blinds everything out. So if you have a EMF meter, you're trying to capture the lights on it going off, if it's up close, it pretty much blinds it out to where you can't even see the lights flashing. So that's the only disadvantage I see in it. But if you have somebody else with you, because I always recommend you go with a partner or a group. Usually either I'll have the camera or one of the other people will have the camera, and you know, somebody else will have like the EMF meter. That way they can be a little ways from you, they're turning towards you. You can aim your camera at it and be able to pick it up. But if you hold it within like an arm's length and try to record it like you're holding the camera and the EMF meter, it doesn't work out very well. Now on the regular lighting, it does, unless you have too much light on it, then it kind of blinds it out. But a lot of times you can adjust your lighting by, say, you got a dimmer switch on it where you can lower the light on it, and that helps out quite a bit. Other thing I want to go over is the EMF meters. These are good. Like I say, there's many different styles they've come out with. Some of them you hold in your hand. Some of them are you can set down on the floor by a doorway. Those are more like a REM pod. A little more expensive for that type of device. I started out with this EMF meter, which it takes a good bit of energy for it to set off. But the only thing I like about it is when something does set it off, it has the sound on it, which you can hear. So, you know, if you're not looking at it and it sounds off, you know, look, you know, it's got your attention. On the other kind I have, like I said, this one here, it takes a lot of energy for it to go off. So you almost have to have something right there for it, kind of a powerful energy. The other one, it's a little more sensitive. It doesn't make the sound, but it does light up. You know, it goes, you know, for a little bit of energy to a lot of energy. You know, it'll light up just a green light going into like the orangish yellow light, or if you have a or not a green light into a yellowish light, then it goes into like a orangish and then to a red. The red being is the strongest energy that you have right there. I like these because I say they're a little bit more sensitive. They pick up little bits of energy rather than a lot of energy. Now when using these devices, you know, keep in mind that they are operated from like magnetic energy, which, you know, there's a lot of things that will set these meters off. If you're around electricity, like an appliance, a refrigerator or a stove, TV, a lot of things like that will set it off. If your cell phones will set it off. Some cameras or other powered equipment, battery operated type equipment, will set these off. So keep that in mind when they go off. Just kind of double check your surroundings, make sure that you're not around some electrical appliance or your phone's not right there. Kind of verify that you are getting an actual reading and it wasn't something else that causes it. Our Earth is made up of a lot of magnetic energy, so a lot of times you may get a reading from a spot in the Earth where you're at. When we go do our kind of walkthroughs, I always take my K2 meter with me, see if I can get any type of reading or get it to go off. If I do have it go off when I'm at that area, we'll kind of do a visual look around, see if we see anything that could be setting it off. We'll take it high in the air, down to the ground, low, just move it around, see what kind of a reading we get. I'm kind of getting a little bit of readings here right now with it, and there's nothing really right here that's going to set it off. I'm getting kind of a energy feeling around me, which happens to me quite a bit. I feel like there's a presence or some kind of energy with me. So these will pick up on a lot of that kind of stuff. The only thing, like I say, it doesn't put out a sound, but at nighttime it'll catch your eye because it will start flashing. During the day, not so much unless you're actually somewhat looking at it or got it in front of you to where you can catch the vision of it. Now, some of the things that I used in the early days when I didn't have like the EMF meters or spirit box or devices like that, I kind of went old school, which was more of a trigger object, which I still use today because they do come in very handy. They are productive. I do get responses from them, but you can get like little toys, especially if you're trying to raise the spirit of a child. You can get like just a basic ball. I like something that has color because to me it seems like it's more appealing to a child. They see the colors and they want to automatically go play with it or go touch it. I'll get like a ball, or I might get like a toy. Back in my days, they used to have, don't know if you'll remember, but they used to have, it looked like a little piano. It was battery operated, or it may not even been battery operated back then, but you pushed on the keys and it would make noise like a piano. Today they got toys that are battery operated that somewhat do the same thing, kind of a learning toy or just an entertainment to keep a child occupied, or something that may sound. But you get little toys like this, and they have little buttons on it where it lights up and makes noise. I use these too because spirit energy, if they have enough energy, they can come over and touch these items. If it's a ball, they have the energy to move it. Either push it, kick it, roll it. I try to, when I put these objects down, I tell them, I got some toys here for them to play with. Come over here and play with them. There's a little ball there that, if you can kick it, go ahead and kick it for us. Or, some of these other toys, touch them, play with them, make them light up. And sometimes we get a little response from it, sometimes we don't. Another little toy that I just got here just not too long ago, it's a sensor activated ball that will light up different colors. You can leave this laying out as long as it's sitting still, it won't light up, but if it moves in any way, it'll start lighting up. It's kind of a trigger object, almost like an EMF meter that when there's energy around it, it'll set it off. So I like little devices like this because it kind of lets us know when something's there, especially for the people that were with me when we go do videos. They don't have that sensitivity to paranormal activity. like I do, I pick up on a lot of those feelings or those scents. Able to hear sounds and voices, capture shadow figures and stuff to where a lot of people, they don't. So these little items like this kind of help out with what they're doing. Make sure you take flashlights with you, especially if you're doing nighttime. That way you're able to see, because you're using your camera pointing one direction as you're videoing. You're not able to see where you're walking. And at nighttime, there's things on the ground you could trip over, a hole you could fall into. It kind of helps out. So I usually have a camera in one hand, and I'll have just a little basic flashlight. Usually just a little small pocket flashlight, just enough to where it's not really bright, but it's bright enough to where I can kind of hold it down to the ground in front of me while I'm filming. That way I can see where I'm walking. Now if I do hear a little sound or something, sometimes I can take my little light and shine it over around, see if there's anything right there that I'm hearing. Could be an animal. No, don't really know until we actually look and see. Most of the time the sound we hear, we look over there, there's nothing there. I try to get my camera over there at the same time also to be able to pick up on if there is anything there. I always carry a backup flashlight. I have one that I'll use as I'm going, but I'll have a second one in my pocket because, as I said, spirits have the ability to use your equipment, your batteries, to where they can draw energy from. You can have a fully charged, brand new batteries that are in your flashlight or in your camera, they're totally charged up, or in your EMF meter. Even your phone can be fully charged, and you can go to a place, and if you have any type of activity or any type of energy, and they want to draw energy from your equipment, they do. I've gone in with a full battery on my camera and maybe only been there about 10-15 minutes and my battery be drained. So make sure you take up some backup batteries. That way you're kind of covered. You don't have to end your investigation short. You may have to stop momentarily to switch out the batteries, but that's better than not being able to complete the investigation that you set out to do. So make sure you have some backup to go with you. Now there's another device that I got not too long ago. I can't say that I really believe in it or rely on it. If we're doing either a seance or even some of our outdoor investigations or something at home, they have a device now. It's called an EM pump, which is supposed to generate more or less magnetic energy, which is what a lot of spirits draw on to get their energy, almost like a power source, power box. It does, I know it puts out, an energy out of it because it will set off my EMF meter. So, but whether it's beneficial for spirits to use to gain energy, I'm not sure. I can't say that's true. It's a possibility. It sounds logical and reasonable, but whether it actually does, I don't know. But we do use this occasionally. Like I say, I can't say that I've really gotten any positive spirits to use it for getting energy. I really don't know. Now, I want to go into another kind of a, not necessarily a trigger object, but it's a device that you can get. They're pretty inexpensive. It's nothing you use, by what you're doing as far as taking photos or video recordings or EMF meters, but it's a little device. It's a motion sensor light, and they're battery operated. You can get 2 of them for like $10-15, and I like these, especially if I'm like at a cemetery or I'm at a place where I get a lot of activity. I like to set these in different places. You know, just set it up and leave it there. And if there's a spirit or some type of energy that would cross the path of it, it will set it off. If we're like up at this end of the cemetery doing our filming up here, and I have some of these set throughout the cemetery in different places, you will see them when they light up, you know, especially if you have them kind of pointed in the direction of where you're at. The path. Now keep in mind, it could be an animal, but a lot of times when we see them go off, we'll head towards that direction just to kind of see if it may have been an animal that set it off. But we'll also go down there because there's a possibility that there's some type of energy there, and we'll go down there and spend a little bit of time and see if we can't pick up on something there. So I have a few of those, and there's different styles. You can go on online to Amazon and Google for paranormal equipment or ghost hunting equipment. A lot of these devices and equipment that you can get through them, there's a lot of different styles, brands. Some of them, you know, they work, but they don't work quite the way I want them. There are some that a lot more money. I'm not willing to put out that kind of money for some of that stuff. I just kind of go in the medium grade price on a lot of the stuff that I get, and it works just fine for what we're doing. Now what I want to go over now is spirit box. In the beginning, I didn't believe that these were actually possible or actually worked. I thought it was more of a program like some of the apps that you can download off of no, I guess not Amazon, but Google Play, Apple, places like that. They have apps that you can download onto your phone, kind of like a game. But they do have some apps in there that you can download. They say it's for doing ghost hunting, spirit boxes. I find that a lot of them are more kind of an entertainment. I don't believe that they really are accurate for any type of paranormal. I've tried a few of them, but the results I was getting back from it, I just couldn't confirm that it was actually working, giving me the results that I was looking for. But I did come across a few of them that do work. The reason I can say that is because using them for some of the questions I was asking, I was getting a response back to that question, so I felt that they were possibly good. Most of them, I think they were kind of like a program that's in them to just go off at different times, you know, as you're doing something, and a lot of it sounds like you are getting something from it. But if you can't get that recognition or that definite answer that you're trying to get on some of your questions, well then, no, I don't believe they are. I think it was just programmed to make you think that way. One of the apps that that I did get, well, I mean, I've got a few of them, but one of them that I believe very highly in, it's a spirit box app, and it's called Necrophonics. There is a charge for it. You can download it to your phone, and it's not like most of the spirit boxes where they scan through radio frequencies. This one has word banks set up in it, and I like it a little bit better because it's got the word banks to where you're not picking up the white noise, you're not picking up the radio scanning stations. What you're hearing coming through are voices. Sometimes you can make them out, sometimes you can't. They're sometimes distinct. I do hear distinct voices come through excuse me, on some of the questions we have, so I believe that it actually works. It's something we just started using not too long ago, and we'll be using it quite a bit. I like it because you can use a reverb in it, or you can use like an echo. But excuse me, but it does work very well. I would recommend that app. The other one that I use is kind of a common one. If you watch any of the videos that are out there, it's a spirit box. It's an SB7. They do have a new model out. It's an SB10, which is kind of an upgrade. It has a little bit more features to it. It's able to take temperature readings, let you know if the temperature changes, whether it goes up, goes down. So there's a little bit of a signal there that kind of helps out on some investigations. But like I say, these worked off of scanning radio stations, which you can set it up on scanning forward or reverse. I'll choose reverse because it's a little harder to understand what the stations are, what the music or sayings coming through. It's kind of like in reverse. That way, if you do pick up a voice or something, it is speaking just like what we would. The only thing is you're not hearing like full sentences. You may be hearing a couple words. I try to zero in on if I can hear the same voice, speaking different times rather than just different voices all throughout it. I try to pinpoint on hearing the same voice over, not necessarily the same word. I'll try to pinpoint on kind of answers to the questions I'll have, like yes or no, a date. You might want to try to have them say one of our names, say their names, possibly what color shirt I'm wearing, or more of a question to try to get a precise answer from them. I'll try to listen in more for those type of answers or voices that come through on these. Now you can just use the device itself, kind of like your cell phone or your digital recorder, but a lot of times it's hard hearing. You almost have to hold it up to your ear because it's not loud enough. I just got just a little speaker. It's rechargeable, which I like because I can recharge them over and over. I'm not having to go out and just keep constantly buying batteries and batteries and batteries. A lot of equipment I try to get one that's rechargeable, to where I can just plug it in after our investigation or before we go, charge all of our equipment up. Some of the equipment I can't. We have to switch out with batteries. But this, you just plug it into your phone. If you're using the app there, that way you can get a lot more volume. It's easier for the digital camera to pick up on it. It's easier for us to hear what's coming through on it. I also use it on my SB7. I'll plug it in. That way, instead of listening through its device itself, I'm listening to a speaker. And you can adjust the volume on it. You can make it loud, you can make it whatever volume you want. So that's always good to have. That's pretty much most of the basic equipment we use. There are a lot of others out there that have been out there quite a while, and they have more money to invest in a lot of better equipment. Eventually, hopefully, we'll be able to do that as well. But like I say, what we're using for a beginner to use, these devices work just fine. You will go out there and you will be able to use these devices, and like I say, be patient about it. Just because you go out there and try to get some activity have the K2 meter go off, get some voices come through your spirit box, pick something up on a camera. Doesn't necessarily mean that's going to happen. You may have to go out there to the same spot 1, 2, 3, 4 times before you get anything. I believe the spirit, when you go into these places, I believe they see you and they know you are there, but they're not sure what you're doing. They're not sure what this equipment is that you have in their hand. So they're kind of watching us, following us around. I guess in a way kind of build up our trust, to see that we're not there to harm them. This equipment's not going to harm them. So be patient. Your dream will come true where you will have something happen. You'll get some results, get some action, get some of your devices go off. Now, say whether it is actual spirit hunter or spirit related, we really don't know. There's some kind of energy that's making these devices go off. Just be sure to check around your surroundings that there's no other possibility of what could be setting them off. But if you want to become a spirit hunter and go around and do some research, and whether it's a hobby or you want to do it to try to gather some evidence to place on YouTube, just have fun at doing it and be safe out there. Don't go out there and be in a rush. Take your time. Be mindful of your surroundings so no one gets hurt. Always go in with a polite attitude. Don't go in there and try to aggravate a spirit, because they're like a human. You can make them angry. You can upset them to where they can come back at you. The only difference is in a human, you aggravate them, you can see them coming at you. A spirit, you can't. You'll just be standing there and all of a sudden you might get scratched, something bites you or hits you, or you just don't know. And I always find it to be more or less courteous, polite, respectful to them. You will get a lot more response from them that way. So just keep those kind of basic rules in mind. Get you a little bit of equipment. Don't have to get real expensive with what you get. Just get you a couple of things to start out with, and go out there and have some fun. See if you can catch any evidence and enjoy it. That's pretty much all I can go over on this video. If you have any questions about any of the equipment that you would like a little information on, you can go online and get some information from it, or you can leave a comment, as we do view our comments, and if it's a question I can answer, we will get back to you. If you see anything in our videos, not necessarily these videos, but in any of our investigations that we may have missed, or you saw something or caught something that we missed, be sure to comment and let us know. Because we always value that comment that we get. If you see something, a way that we might change our videos to make them better, let us know, because that's what we're trying to do. Put out quality videos, try to catch some spirit paranormal evidence, so we can show our viewers. Go to our channel, hit that subscribe button, that notification bell. When our videos come out, you'll be notified. Be sure to share and like, let the other people know that we are doing it. Get them to come and become a fan or a follower of our channel. And we hope that you're watching our videos and enjoying them. And till our next video, as I would say, stay spooky.